All right. Put your headphones on.
Ben, put your headphones on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your head down. Oh. You ready to start the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Damn it, where's the document? Okay, there it goes. Here we go. Be quiet, would you? Hey, listeners. Skirt, skirt. We want to take this opportunity at the top of the show to remind everybody to join our Patreon. We just had 1, 2, 3 to the 4 patrons join the party. So we want to welcome Dulce, Cher, Anthea, and Tria. We love to see it. For new patrons, join the party. If you're asking, well, how can I get access to the party? Well, let me tell you. You're going to go to the episode notes and click that link that says join our Patreon. As you know, each month we give away a book to a special patron. And this month, at the end of the month, we'll be giving away The City We Became by the incredible, formidable N.K. Jemisin. We also covered that book on the show, so be sure to join our Patreon. Now let's get started with the show. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Side under the Believe Podcast Network. It's a podcast about Black science fiction and Black fantasy and staying on the same page of our marriage. Today for episode... fucked that up, right? This is why I can't do live radio. Today for episode 65, I know that we said we were going to cover Lilith's Brood, book 3, but you know what? Ben and I just got a little busy this weekend with an incredible comic book convention called C2E2. So we're honestly going to spend today just recapping our experience at that Chicago comic book convention. Don't worry, we'll still bring up all of the Black and beautiful that was at this convention. But before we get started talking about C2E2, Ben, how are you doing today, my love?
Good. Yeah, I'm just chilling.
It's a
hanging
podcast.
out.
It's a show, so it'd be nice if you would
I'm
elaborate.
good. I'm doing great. Yeah, just you lashed out at me right before we got in the show because
we did.
I was trying to look for a phone for you that I didn't know was on top of the coffee maker because you put it there. So I was looking in the bedroom. So I went and asked you, hey, where's the phone? And then you just started crying because
Here we go.
you started crying.
Don't be telling half of the story, Ben.
You're like, why didn't you look? I'm like, well, I guess I should have looked on top of the coffee maker for your phone.
Okay.
Maybe you were just having a stressful day.
See, first of all,
and being pregnant.
Ben,
Were those pregnancy tears?
yes, because here's the thing. You are so wonderful. You are such a wonderful partner. But let me tell you how you operate, okay?
Oh, talk to me how I operate, please.
I know I'm patronizing, but since you took it there, we go take it. If I make a to-do list of things that need to be done, you will do everything on that list. But if I don't make that list, you ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Are we clear about that?
If
So
there's not a list, it's not happening.
So you would never walk into a room and say, I know what's wrong. These clothes need to be folded. This floor needs to be vacuumed. You, as the therapist once said, you're incapable of doing that. So I have to learn how to make. You remember when the doctor told me that therapist I had to let go of at one point? So the therapist said, Ben might be incapable of making a list, but if he will do everything on your list, you still got a good guy. So I said to myself a long time ago, that's great. But that list philosophy applies to everything else. So when I say to you, Ben, I need help looking for my keys. Can you help me? You'll be like, well, where are they? Well, God damn it. If I knew where they were, I'd go get them myself. But I'm asking you for help. Yeah. And I just had a breakdown in that moment because I said to myself, wow, when we have a baby, Ben's not going to be able to say like, wow, my wife is crying, my baby's crying. Let me just go fix a cup of coffee and grab a burrito. Ben's not going to be able to do that. So I had that epiphany as we were as I was asking you to help me find my phone.
Sorry, I just yawned. Not for anything what you're saying.
So how do you respond now to that, listeners, and to that, Benjamin?
Yeah.
We both
have work to do. We both have work to do.
Do you want to one day be able to make a list, or you're like, I'm fine just completely the list?
No, I can make a list. I've made lists before. Yeah.
Also, isn't it funny now that we have a visual aspect to our podcast, we kind of have to like put clothes on for it.
I know. I'm not wearing any pants.
I know.
But I put on a shirt.
Me either.
So we're both pantless.
I know, but today I was like,
we can't stand up.
Yeah, right.
We
I was
can't
thinking,
adjust ourselves.
I was like, this is why we haven't been visual for so long. Well, one, I needed that camera.
Most times we're doing the podcast naked.
We weren't fully naked, but we weren't together.
Yes,
we
multiple times we were completely naked.
Like buck ass naked. But
go back and guess which episode we were completely naked on.
Yeah, but now we have to actually put on shirts. Like I've definitely done the show in a bra. That's so funny. But baby, I don't mean to drag you. You know, I just had to come.
Oh, I meant to drag you.
I know, right? So, anywho,
so how are you doing today?
I said I'm doing well. I just had to realize
Is that the first time you cried today?
I think yes.
Okay, cool.
I didn't even cry thug tears. The wells in my eyes formed as I realized I married an absolute nincompoop. And then I was like, you know what? No, you married a really great person. So be kind, rewind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That works for more than just Blockbuster. Because you are so incredible. So I want to take time on this podcast right now to apologize to you for snapping on you.
Perfect.
For not being able to tell you exactly where my phone is that I needed your help looking for.
Accepted.
Excellent. So speaking of good vibes and good energy, let's take it to the Apple Podcast rating streets. I want to say this. We had so many new Apple Podcast reviews. So
boom. Are we at 1,000 yet?
We're not 1,000. We're at a sensible 370. So we're getting there.
Help us get to 1,000, everybody.
Yes, and y'all are doing y'all's part. This one's from Uncle Junior 316. Also, 316 is the date of my birthday, so anytime I see that, I'm just gonna like go off. Hey guys, LOL. I've been following TikTok for a while and finally decided to come here. I love it. LOL. I've been jumping around and loved y'all's commentary and lovely bantering. Thank you, Uncle Junior. We love you as well. This one's from Shishkanob. Love. This is the podcast I've been waiting for. I really enjoy all of y'all's content on every platform. Thank you both for the... I don't know what.
Thank you both for the laughs and realness.
I'm pregnant, so my reading is going.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does, Ben. And then this last, thank you so much for that last one. And then this last one, it's a little bit long. I'm not going to read the whole rant. This person went on a rant about horror that actually had nothing to do with us. So I'll just really quickly read the parts that mostly have to do with us because we're going to get started with the show. Sugar Llama says, no such thing as high horror. Love this couple. Awesome podcast for black nerds. Amber, please watch Star Trek Discovery. I know why you want me to. We'll talk about that in a brief second. But I do have to say there's absolutely no such thing as high horror, elevated horror, blah, blah, blah. And they just went on a rant. I'll post it in the Patreon streets.
I think that was, at one point you had said elevated horror, and that's sort of disrespectful.
Where did I say that?
You said it in one of our podcasts when we were talking about horror. And there's this
right.
whole idea.
But in my brain, it's kind of like when people drag me on TikTok about a video I made in July. I'm like, what happened?
Oh, no. But this person's point is actually quite a good point. So
okay, so I probably said something calling horror elevated.
Right. I think we were probably talking about slashers, and there's this false dichotomy of like there's an elevated horror with like symbolism, like something like Jordan Peele's, Us, or Jordan Peele's
Get Out.
Get Out. Where in actuality, this person makes a really good point that slashers are just as elevated, or it's just as thoughtful as any of this high horror type of bullshit. And what happens is that literary fiction oftentimes frowns down at genre fiction, like horror, science fiction. But then science fiction horror fans are like, oh, literary fiction, like, yo, fuck you, like we're just as good as literary fiction, which is true.
Like B-movie and stuff.
Right.
Got it.
No. You're almost there. Literary fiction is something like, Ian Gossie's Homegoing, right?
I think it's Homecoming.
Homecoming. So that is like literary fiction.
I see.
Which is
like
run by
Colson Whitehead's Underground Railroad, or the Nickel Boys.
Yeah, the Nickel
it's
Boys.
Loosely based on a
Nickel Boys would be more like literary fiction.
Okay.
But then there's genre fiction, like science fiction and fantasy.
Got it.
Right. And so literary people who will study literary fiction, like J.D. Salinger, will frown down on Isaac Asimov, which is genre fiction.
So this person is arguing that I did the same thing about horror.
Right. So oftentimes science
Which,
fiction...
going back to my other point, is like saying like Jordan Peele versus like B-movie horror.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
So I did get it right. I
you
just
did.
didn't
You
get
did.
it right
Yeah. You're getting to the point. This person's
saying it's all valid.
It's all valid.
Got
but
it.
What I find so fascinating, and this person rightly points out, is that oftentimes these genre nerds like myself will get upset at literary people for schnubbing their nose at genre fiction, but then in actuality, the genre fiction nerds reproduce that same hierarchy within the genre.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So there's like horror, but then there's here's what we call the high horror, which is the good horror, and then
So this
there's
person
the
thinks
slasher
I
stuff.
called something high horror, which I probably did.
Yeah,
Ain't no telling. We
They're
haven't
like
done
elevated because
But we do watch horror. Like they ended their comment saying, and I'm not like this person gave us 5 stars. Like I love you, Sugar Llama. We're not talking about you. I'm just trying to understand what I likely said. And then but their last comment was, you guys should give horror a chance. It's great and it has lots to offer. We love horror.
Yeah.
We cover horror on the show. I will say that we do emphasize horror during Halloween. So we did horror all of October, but we do love horror. So maybe I should watch How I'm Being Snobby with B movies versus like Beloved.
Right. Yeah, Beloved could fall into horror, but someone would say, well, that's literary horror, and it's like, no, it's all horror and it all has its place. And oftentimes slashers are sort of like...
So there's no
snubbed down.
hierarchy in horror.
There is.
Beloved and Goosebumps are the same.
They're all valid, and people create... Well, any sort of hierarchy is assuming this linear kind of thinking.
Okay.
Literary, wow.
I was like, what
literary.
you trying to say?
I was like, I fuse literary and lineary. This linear kind of thinking, which is that this thing is better than this thing, which is better than this thing, which is better than this thing. And in actuality, no.
It's like children's books are just as valid as...
Right, because it's about the interaction and the time and place that content is consumed and thought about. Like Goosebumps for a beginning reader is really powerful and can really get them thinking of fear. And Beloved is really powerful for someone who is looking for, a
slave narrative.
A slave
horror.
narrative, right? But it really depends, right? Like it's not saying one book is better than the other.
That's right. Well,
oftentimes people will say that this book is better than the other.
Right. Well, I'm glad that this person left this comment, and I will now honestly think differently about how I possibly talk about horror being different levels.
Yeah.
But I stand by if this comment was referring to us dragging Tales from the Hood too, I stand by what I said because that was just bad.
I actually think it might be because we've covered quite a bit of horror. Ganjan has Tales.
Right. I was like, you got to get specific. We have covered a lot of horror.
Yeah, and I really
Candyman.
like. Yeah. We've seen the films they mention in here, Black Christmas, which I really want you to watch sometime, which is the movie with the first final girl ever. Most people know the final girl is from the Halloween film.
Right.
Jamie Lee Curtis, but actually the final girl is from Black Christmas. And I know that because of the book My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, which is a great love letter to the horror, to specifically the slasher genre. Great book. Yeah, but I really like this comment. I think they pointed out something that sort of frustrates me in science fiction and fantasy circles, where people will say, this is science fiction, but this isn't. And so people are creating these hierarchies within a genre that has generally been at the lower bottom. It's sort of like nerds sort of fighting who's the top dog.
Yeah, I was like, you run with people who do this shit like that all the time.
Right, and
you
that's
do that, you're like,
problematic.
Monopoly isn't a real board game. Like, Battlestar Galactica is a real board game.
Yeah, I do that.
Right.
And that's problematic, you know. A part of it, I'm doing it to be silly.
You're a problem. So anyway, would you like to talk about our weekend, Sleepy Boots? This is so funny. Ben is sleepy because honestly, we were so busy with the convention this weekend that we're recording this podcast hours before it comes out. So as soon as we're done,
planners.
I am editing, and then you'll probably hear it right after that. So thank you for being patient with us.
Don't tell that to the. Let's keep it a secret. We have been. This was recorded.
I mean, it's not going
to
be hour for hour, but yeah, no, it's good. So there ain't no telling what kind of content is going to come out of this. All right, Ben, why don't you explain what C2E2 is, and then we'll talk about what brought us there specifically, and then we're going to break it all the way down. We're going to do it just how we do books and movies, like first impressions, themes that came out of the weekend. So take it away.
All right, C2E2 is Chicago's premier Comic-Con. It's like New York Comic-Con, but it's Chicago. So lots and lots of comic books, old, new comic books to buy. There's an artist alley. There are after-hour parties, which I didn't get to go to any for reasons that we'll talk about later. I was there all weekend, all day. Mm-hmm. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's see. So
I went on Friday.
You have Artist Alley, and then you have the Collectors Alley, and then you have sort of panels. Stephen Strait, who is the main character from one of my favorite TV shows, The Expanse, was there. John Cena was there. Let's see. Lots and lots of wonderful people. Giancarlo Esposito was there.
One black comic creator we're going to talk about as well, because we are going to shout out some black creators, but
yeah.
She is Afua Richardson. Ben got to meet her, but I didn't. So why don't you share a little bit about her? Because
Afua Richardson.
She's one of my favorite followers from the weekend.
Yeah, she is the creator of the comics and all the artwork that you see from Lovecraft Country. Mm-hmm. So in Lovecraft Country, like Dee, right? Or D and Hippolyta, Orinthia Blue. She did all that. D is the little girl who draws, and her drawings is actually Afua's drawings. And so the Orinthia Blue sort of comic you see in the TV show is actually what Afua Richardson did. So she did a lot of the art design, and it was really cool to get to meet her. She's, top tier cosplayer. She is having a book coming out about Black mermaids in May. Sort of got to chat with her. And then we also bought an original piece of art from her that will go up in our baby's room of the Dora Milaje. So I'm very excited. Amber's sort of looks like a Dora Milaje.
I do.
With her hair. So it sort of worked out. So when your hair was shorter as well, your hair's getting really long. I just noticed that.
I know. I'm growing it out
after
with the whole pregnancy.
You just took a shower, so I see it's gotten some depth to it.
This is a sidebar.
You'll be a Rapunzel in no time.
Oh, you trying to do that tonight, girl? Okay. What I'm doing is, obviously every week I record like how my belly's growing. So I kind of want like the hair to match the belly growth. So
your belly's growing a lot faster.
Okay. Oppa. All right, let's keep going. You shady ass bitch. Anyway, we had a great time. One of my goals this weekend was to talk to every black person that I saw at the convention, which you will get to see. I will exclusively for the Patreon put a video of a lot of the black creators that I got to connect with. I'll put that in the Patreon, which was great. But I went into this convention thinking like there's probably only gonna be a pocket full of black people here, so like I'll be able to talk to every black person I saw, and it was tons of blacks with a Q in that convention. There were just it was a super diverse convention, and it's so nice because when we talk to authors, we've talked to authors on the show who have said in the past, like, I've been one of 2 or 3 Black people at these conventions. And so I went into this weekend, even though we've been to C2E2 in the past, I went into this weekend just like thinking like I'll probably see 20 plus Black people, but I saw so many people, Black people, creators and artists I can connect with. I just truly didn't get a chance to speak to everybody on the day that I was there, but I did get some like incredible interviews, incredible tags, incredible art, and so I'm very grateful for that. Fun question.
Yes.
There's a convention that does not exist yet. What is it for you?
That does not exist yet.
Yeah. Like, you remember like DragCon? Somebody had to think of that one day.
Yeah. I really enjoy The Expanse and the books. They're like really, really big books, and there's this really great TV show, and it's just there's no convention of it yet because it doesn't have the popularity,
Did they get renewed for another season?
No, this is the final season that's coming out. It just stopped being popular. For the first couple of seasons, it was really popular, and it was supposed to be like Game of Thrones in space type of thing, but it never reached the following. I think they started to struggle in the later seasons. They should have started killing more characters off. It was, yeah. Anyway, I really do enjoy the TV show. I love the show. The books are really huge. They're stuffed with, side characters and lots of different stories. You could do a convention. There's enough material there. The world is big enough for it to be there. There's enough politics for it to be there. But it won't happen unless like there's some sort of resurgence in the future. I wish they would create another season of Firefly, and do a Firefly convention.
I knew that was coming soon. Yep.
Yeah, but even
but you weren't
Josh
a Buffy
Whedon,
friend, right?
Buffy's fine. I like Firefly better, but Josh Whedon is.
I think you're in the minority with that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he turned out to be like a super dick and really awful when he came in to start directing. That's just old news, so we'll just keep going. What convention, Amber, would you like to have started that has not been developed yet?
Thank you for asking that question, Chuck. That convention for me would be the Flavor of Love Con.
Oh my God.
Where
people dress up as different of the women in the house.
You can dress up as Flav. You can dress up as Flav's butler, Big Rick. You can dress up as the girls. I mean, there's so much content. There's like 3 different seasons. Flav also has 10 children. You could dress up as
one of his children.
William, Designer. You could dress up as the kids. I really think if they made a Flavor of Love convention, like you could have panels with some of the original girls, like, because I be knowing word for word certain episodes, and that everybody likes to laugh and talk shit, but it's like, but you bitches are still watching The Bachelor years later. Like that was the same thing. The Bachelor's just a boring version of Flavor of Love, in my humble opinion. So I really think they could do something with that. And then I'd be able to invite you and we'd learn more. Because, I've been trying to get us for Halloween to go as New York and Pumpkin for Evs. But it's just like not going to be as sweet because you don't know the spit reference.
Oh, no, I could. Yeah, I could do that. We've watched a lot of episodes. You've made me watch a lot of episodes so against my will.
You could have a little Charm School panel, like all of the spinoffs. You could have Brigitte Nielsen do a cameo. I really think if they made a Flavor of Love convention, motherfuckers would come out for that because that was a dynasty. Are you frustrated? Does that frustrate you?
No, just your idea is brilliant.
I think it is as well. Why don't we take a quick break, yeah?
Okay.
So, as I said earlier, I went around to the convention and got to really make connections with some great Black artists. Zeppy Zeppy is one of them. I'll tag Zeppy Zeppy. like she was just one that stood out to me who made some like incredible black art, and I saw some of her characters were like I look like this person, like, or I could see her drawing a person like me, like I'm gonna connect with this friend. Gab and Brittany were two girls I linked with there who were funny enough already following me, so it was nice to just like see them there. And so I had a little bit different of an experience than Ben had at the convention. So Ben, why don't you set the stage for some of the things that you were kind of dealing with? I experienced that, but you were in the throes of it.
Yeah, so I was helping table. A table means when an artist sets up their table and they sell their artwork. And so my friend Jeremy asked if I could sort of help him out and table with him, and I did. And Jeremy is non-neurotypical, which means he has he's on the spectrum. He has autism, and so he struggles sort of reading social situations and also organization and sort of keeping things together. So, excuse me. I helped him set up his table and sort of reminded him not to, accost people.
How did those reminders go, Ben?
It was good. Yeah, he ended up learning, and he's
such a sweetheart.
He's very sweet, and he stayed over at our house one night. It was really great, but you're sort of sitting there for like 5-6 hours, and having people walk by you, and 5-6 hours of work, you have to make like $300. It costs like $400 to table there. It's absolutely insane.
They're legit making most of their money off of artists, like, aren't they?
No, not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. How did that?
Can you turn that one in for me a little bit?
Okay.
I'm going to keep the podcast going because at this rate, I'm not going to be able to edit out all of the flubs today. So Ben is currently turning one of the cameras because I'm completely out of frame on it. Still mostly out of frame, but you know what? It's late and we're tired. But I'm really grateful that Jeremy got to come there for a weekend, and he also like similarly got to connect with some other more so like patrons and like customers who had autism as well. So
yeah, he didn't want to put up a sign that like said he had autism, but I'm like, Jeremy, it is really difficult to be around you at times if people don't understand that you have autism. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'll tell him that. I'm like, listen, like sometimes you get really excited or you repeat things and it sounds strange for people, or you're like.
And you said at one point his headphones were on.
Yeah. He puts his headphones on because of
the noise.
It gets too noisy for him. And I'm like, Jeremy, you need to put up a sign that says something along the lines like support artists with autism. He's like, all right, I'll do that. So he wrote support artists with autism. And then in parentheses, he wrote, that means me. And so multiple people with autism came up and were like, I want to meet an artist with autism. And like literally he had to go to the bathroom at one point, and there was a young boy who came up with his siblings, and the boy was like, oh, I'd like to buy this. I'm like, the artist just stepped away, and he's like, oh, rats. I'm like, but he'll be back. And I was talking to the sibling who was neurotypical like me, and I was talking to her, and she was like, yeah, my brother was just really excited to meet someone with autism who was an artist. At the convention. And then two parents came up and was like, yeah, my son has autism, but he's sort of at a different place. Like there's the main artist gallery, which is really big and really loud, could be really intense. You can buy alcohol, so you get some occasional rowdy people. And there was one rowdy group of people who came and gave Jeremy like $20 to do like a 30-minute sketch for them, or like 20-minute. I was like, all right, Jeremy, you can take this money, but whatever. Like, so afterward, I explained to Jeremy, like, these people are drunk. Anyway, but two parents came up.
These motherfuckers.
Yeah, two parents came up, and they're like, our kid is sort of out in the away from the artist out, what they call artist alley, because they're, it's too loud for them to come down. But I saw, and I really want to buy something to support. Sorry, it was three parents actually who said this, and I was like, Jeremy, like you would be like, you need to. I don't know. It's sort of tricky because it's like, do you market yourself as an artist with autism, and Jeremy, and I've talked to Jeremy quite a bit about this, and he's like, I just want people to like my art and not this. I'm like, yes, but people feel a special connection with you when they know like someone who's not neurotypical can make this amazing artwork.
Or I've shared to him, like, it's really powerful that these conventions do have like Black in Anime or Black Creators panel. Like, that's something that just speaks to me as a Black person. And it doesn't mean I'm asking for a handout. It just means like, here's a group of people that share my similar shared experiences, potential shared trauma, shared joy. And I want to be in that room with them. And I think, I don't know. I guess he just doesn't see it that way currently, but he did make some connections with other people with autism, and that's super powerful.
Yeah, he's told me he was in a group of like high functioning autistic artists and professionals, and he was like, I had to leave that group because they were just like too autistic for me. I was like, Jeremy, like. I was like, what? Like,
I mean, that's
dude.
Fair. I had to just recently leave a new mommy group.
Right. Like, sure, there's certain
identities. And they
identities.
were too new mommy for me.
Too mommy
for my goddamn nerves. They're like,
and I was like, Jeremy, I understand, but you can connect with those people in a way that, me and you can't connect with. And I think at one point you had said to him, I was like, yeah, sometimes I just need Ben out of the house and I need Black people time.
Right.
To have like Black people.
And Jeremy was like, I need Black people time too.
Yeah, I was like,
no,
Jeremy's white, and so we've talked a lot about identity. Jeremy and I have been friends for I don't know, going on 10 years now, and we're
gonna talk more about Jeremy in our YouTube this week, so be sure to check it out. He's a wonderful human being.
He's so funny. And then I had my friend Zaid stop by at some point. We were just talking, and Jeremy loves the Muppets, and at one point, we were Jeremy loves to reminisce about Jim Henson's funeral because Jim Henson died when he was 51.
And Jeremy has seen this funeral no less than 200 times.
Yeah, I think he was 51. Jeremy would correct me. He would know the date, the time. Literally, he would.
The full musical score of the Jim Henson funeral.
And so he loves just talking about Jim Henson. A lot of his art is like Kermit the Frog art. One of my favorite sort of fan arts he did is he did this really grotesque, fucked up image of Grover as this chef, but with like a severed head on it.
Right.
And it was like
that's right up your alley.
Oh yeah, it was super amazing and fucked up. But also Jeremy will do these like really beautiful. He has this beautiful sketch of like Nickelodeon types Rugrat style. Of the
and it's like shot for shot, like it looks exactly like those.
But he did a sketch in sort of the Nickelodeon style of the Church of Notre Dame, right when there was right after the fire of Notre Dame. He was so disturbed by this beautiful piece of architecture, being destroyed, that he ended up making this awesome artwork. I think I might actually buy the original from him. It's so good. It's so beautiful. It's like very cartoony and just fucking off the chain. But oftentimes he'll make these really inappropriate connections at one point. So he was saying about Jim Henson's death, and he's like, it was like 9/11.
Ooh.
Jim Henson's death was like 9/11. It's just, it was just surprising, and we didn't see it, and it was, and it was so sad.
That was what it was like for him. It like hijacked and terrorized his brain.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I was like, Jeremy, the results of 9/11, we ended up invading Iraq and killing thousands of innocent people, and we're still suffering the fallout of that. Like, do you understand that connection is really offensive? And he was like, yeah.
It's like, not to us, but like, but to the average person walking down the street.
Oh yeah, and I told him, but my friend Zaid and I just started laughing, and he'll say really fun, like,
he actually also says
stuff.
the 9/11 phrases when talking about Jim Henson, because I heard somebody trying to buy something from him, and he was like, never forget, and I was like, Jeremy, what? He was like, gone too soon, never forget. It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, Jim Henson. I was like,
I think he somehow equated those. He's made this connection between those two events. He'll also do like these really bizarre crossovers. He did like a Breaking Bad and
like Kingdom Hearts
and
reference.
Kingdom Hearts crossover, which was really cool. And people are sort of struck by it because it's very kiddish, but then you see this adult murderer from an adult TV show like pop up, and so
Or to be like the Iron Giant and BB-8 in a scene together or something.
Yeah,
I like those.
He'll do. Actually, the image you're talking about is the guy from Rogue One, the robot from Rogue One. Remember the tall? Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, I thought it was the Iron Giant.
No, it looks like the Iron Giant, but he'll do like lots of funny things, or he'll say something really shady, and then not realize that it's shady.
We'll be like, "Come over, Jeremy. Like, you like our place?" He's like, "I like this place way better than y'all's last apartment."
And that's why
You're
I
like,
fuck with him.
I do as well. Or he shaded his dad the other day. He was like, "Look at my body. I feel like I just look like my dad." I was just like, damn. I don't even. Is that shade to your dad? He's like, "No, my dad's just fat." I was like, I love it. I actually love, like, because he names what he needs, you know?
Yeah.
He's
Or like we were like I had him over, so we did breakfast, and I'm like, I have the original maple syrup. He's like, I can't eat it without Aunt Jemima's. I was like, all right.
hey, or who's now Pearl Milling Company.
Pearl Milling Company. He's like, I need some Aunt Jemima's. I was like, well, Amber's right here, so.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up. What did you mean by that, bitch?
Because Aunt Jemima's black and you're black.
Got it. How'd you think that joke did just now?
It wasn't very good. Because I think if he like if I reminded him that Aunt Vagina or Aunt, if I reminded him,
I would please. That's gonna be my new drag name, Aunt Vagina.
Aunt Vagina. If I reminded him that Aunt Jemima was actually like a racist sort of caricature, he would have felt really guilty.
He would have spiraled and apologized to me a million times.
Yeah, so he'll, if he does something offensive, like or insensitive, and I let him know, and he'll feel really bad. Anyway, so.
Jeremy was awesome to host.
I hung out with him, full days.
Yeah,
12-hour days, helped him set up, tear down. We, took him out to eat, and it was nice because he, he lives with his parents, so it was nice to just sort of help him, navigate and show more of the city. And I love, like, we share stories, and he loves talking to me. I love talking to him. It's just a really great friendship. And but anybody who has family or friends with autism, like it's just a very different kind of experience. And like they end up like obviously I was teaching him things, but at the same time it was reciprocal, right? It wasn't like we don't have this one-sided relationship, right? In many ways, I love talking to him, and I think he learns a lot from me. So that was my con, just helping him out. I do have here, I bought...
For the YouTubers.
Yeah, for the YouTubers, but this is a massive Wild Bill's type of soda. They had this like really fun Wild Bill's soda, like tavern type of thing where you get...
You get to pull it.
You pull it, and so Amber can't drink alcohol, so I bought her this really nice cup that costs like, I don't know, $70 or something.
Ooh, we spent too much damn money this weekend, but that's okay because it went back into just like the like pure creativity and inclusivity of cons. Like I never would have. Damn, Chicago! I'm not cutting this out because it's late. Yeah, fun fact, I typically cut out the sirens, but not tonight. Y'all are going to get full Chicago. I had never been to or heard of a convention before we got together. Not even really knew about cosplay. Like, I remember maybe...
I remember the first time you went, you were, like, absolutely amazed. Like, you were stunned.
Right, which totally makes sense because, like, I love all things drag queen. Like, so it feels very adjacent, and I would be too afraid to do something like that when I was younger, whereas now seeing other Black people dressed as, like, Frozone and Storm, I'm like, oh, I could totally do this. Like, I really look forward to cosplaying one day, and especially with our kid coming, because we did see so many kids there. Like I love the, what is it like that these conventions sort of are. They have no age.
Multi-generational.
They're multi-generational, and they're multi-faceted in the fact that, like, I can find Black family and Jeremy can find family with autism at the same location. And I saw tons of people in wheelchairs in cosplay as well. It reminded me, it's like Schitt's Creek. It's like, this is how the world should be. It's not like all of this hate. And of course, there's tons of issues within cosplay. There's tons of issues with blackface. Like, I'm not saying that it's like a fantasy land, but I did this weekend see a place where people of different races and different creeds and different abilities like come together to like fucking Sonequa and Star Trek. Like, I love that, because when we go to concerts and stuff, you might not always see that. Like, I love the Who Weekly, but I didn't see a lot of Black people at the Who Weekly. Like, it's like mostly white celebrity gossip, or we'll go to a concert for me and it's mostly Black. We'll go to a concert for you and it's mostly white. So I feel like this is one of the first places we've been in a really long time that was just like, this really is for everybody and every crowd.
Yeah, it's really great. And then one of the greatest things that we got, you're going to hear this, listeners.
Oh, Lord. Where's Gucci? He hates this.
Yeah. This right here is the sound of a lightsaber that I got. It is really fun. It is actually designed for combat. And then I won a second one in a raffle. So I only paid for one.
Lucky me.
And so now I have two, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Okay, you can turn it off now, because people just listening to us are going to be like, yeah, you're good. We get. But if you're looking on the YouTube, it's pretty fire. I think they see it now. Lucky me that Ben brought his toys home, his expensive ass toys. So between the, are you gonna turn it off?
Why is it not?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
This episode has been crazy tonight, right? Oh.
But that was the one, and then we got the other one.
We have two now.
Sounds a little different.
We're gonna do some cosplay. We're gonna do some cosplay, and then we're gonna do some role play.
Yeah.
Other places.
I was thinking that I would use one for fun and then the other one for spanking.
I thought you said you were gonna give your nephew.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to my nephew one.
Could you please give it to them before you get any ideas?
Yeah. But it was really great.
Man, we gotta dress. I really do want to dress. I just don't want to half step with cosplay, and I feel like you would put me in a position to be like, oh, by the way, I signed this up for this convention. It's this weekend. People prepare so far in advance to cosplay.
Months, yeah. Sort of putting things together, knowing what we're gonna do. And when you cosplay, I want to not just buy the costume. I either want to pay someone to make it for me, right? So you're celebrating the artist, or I make it myself. You know what I mean? So, and
who have you always wanted to go as?
I don't know. I've never actually thought about it. Maybe like something from the Mandalorian. I really like the Mandalorian, going as Mando. I want to go something more as obscure. So like obscure, but really cool, right? So you're going and people love how you look. I would probably maybe go as like a Witcher character, but a tertiary Witcher character from the video game, that's probably what I would go as. And I would want the fabric to be like custom designed for me. That would be fucking awesome.
I want to go in something that's like full throttle. So like a Mystique or something. It's like, I need to be painted blue from head to motherfucking toe. Or like, I saw a lot of Harley Quinns this weekend, but like, unless it's like that OG red and black, it's just not that fun. It's like, okay, I get it. The pink and blue hair. What's next? It's like Cruella. Like, what's next? But I want to go as a mystical character, or Dora Milaje. I would go full bald. I would also go as like Ursula the Sea Witch or something. Like something that requires like, I need you bitches to come in here and make all 8 tentacles. I need Flotsam and Jetsam. Like, It's so funny that in my brain, the only characters there would be like Marvel and comic book, and then you'll see like 15 Elsas. Like, how does that work? Like so like cosplay is just like any character you want to be come through.
Any character you feel a connection with, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, do it. I mean, even create your own character. People do that as well.
Yeah, but it's just like, girl, who are you?
Yeah. But I mean, if it's stunning, if it's cool, if it's beautiful to look at, right? If you create a narrative in your head about that person, then you start walking around acting as that person, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But you could do that every day. Why don't today you dress up as like?
Sure. I mean, well,
I
you're
see your point,
advertising yourself because at these kind of cons, it's so big. People will just walk up and down Artist Alley. You know what I realized? Usually when I go to these conventions, I love sitting through the panels. I did not sit at one single panel.
I know. I was like, did you meet John Cena?
I did not. I didn't go to a single panel, and they're all free. And I just stayed at the Artist Alley, which was nice because I started to really feel, okay, this is what it's like, you know? And yeah, super excited
We should be on a panel one day. We're gonna do a panel soon, right?
Yeah,
One
yeah.
year. I mean, we
Maybe.
got this baby
We'll
coming,
see.
so
We'll see. It's just been a lot with you, working with you.
Okay, say more.
No. It's just been a lot in general. Like together, living life with you, collective you. It's not been a lot with dealing with you. Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. No, it's fine. It's been a lot. We've been working through a lot with us together, two of us.
Doing what?
Just living life. We're fine. We're doing great. Okay, wrap up.
Wait, are there any upcoming conventions? I know like DisCon is coming up.
There is DisCon. ShyCon, which is like the World Science Fiction Convention, is coming to Chicago. That's where they give the Hugo Award, which is...
I didn't know that was in Chicago.
Yeah, it's coming to Chicago this year. That is the science fiction book awards that are equivalent to the Academy Awards. And then C2E2 is coming back in August of next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So within 8 months.
There's another one in February.
Yeah. I think that was DisCon. We talked about. No, not DisCon is coming up next week.
Right. We'll put this in order in the show notes.
But yeah, lots of different cons. Yes, there's one coming up in February.
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, let's not. Yeah,
let's talk about things we don't know shit about.
Yeah.
Are you tired?
I am so tired.
Do you love me still?
I do love you.
This podcast is intense because like it's not like other podcasts where people are mostly Zooming or they're in a booth. Like we actually just have to look at each other the whole time.
Yeah,
and sometimes
staring at you.
And sometimes you grab my hand and hold it under the table. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you rub me underneath. No, you don't do that.
And with that being said, Ben, why don't you warp up the show?
Yeah. Comic conventions are awesome. Cosplay is not consent, which is a tagline you will see, which we didn't even talk about, actually. Yeah, consent is important at
Yes, it is.
conventions.
I'm so sorry if that was misconstrued as me laughing at consent.
Yeah, just there's so much to talk about. But in conclusion, go to a convention. Take the children there. Have a good time. Stay after hours.
And if you're coming to Chicago for a con, literally, please just DM us on Instagram. We will likely be there. I met tons of people who hit us up in the Instagram streets, and I was like, we're on this row. Come say hey. And they did, and it was so much fun. So love connecting with y'all in person. Thanks, Ben.
Sweet. Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Sci-Fi Sci Podcast. Up next, I promise y'all, we're going to read book 3 of Lilith's Brood. Let's finish out strong with Imago by Octavia Butler. Be sure to read that. Get ready for those upcoming cons, and we will see y'all next week for the show. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Wait, who's getting the last word?
I always get the last
Okay,
word.
yeah. I thought
Bye,
maybe
y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. I think I got the last word. And
You did not.
Shut the
Shut the fuck up. Or stop talking. I'm stopping the podcast now.
Ooh.
What do you have to say? Do you want to sing?
I'm gonna play.
What's been your new favorite song
Red
lately?
Dead
Tell
Redemption.
the people.
Oh, so my students are singing our ESBCT for choir, and so they wanted me to play it when they were working on one of their projects, sort of the final projects for this week, and it was so cool. Like all the little 6th grade girls singing Aretha. It was adorable.
That's not even what I was talking about. I was talking about Pretty Hurts. You've been singing Pretty
Oh
Hurts. around the
yeah,
house,
yeah. I've been singing.
But Aretha's
Pretty Hurts, shine a light on whatever word. Is affection is disease.
It's like you're like singing about pandemic, like
it's an affection.
Coronavirus is a disease and a pandemic. Ben,
Viruses are not
Ben,
alive.
Ben, what is your aspiration in life?
My aspiration? Well, I'm a beauty queen. I didn't realize that you would ask me a question about the aspiration. And I'm not ready for this question, Harvey Keitel. I don't know.
Oh my God, Ben, it's the soul that needs the surgery.
It's the soul that needs. Yeah, I want to hear that from the most beautiful woman in all the world.
I was like,
Fucking,
Pretty Hurts, bitch. You know.
we should cosplay as Beyonce. I mean, you should. But maybe we could
I
both
can't.
cosplay as Beyonce.
You can't be like hot and funny.
Hot
Like
and.
God's like, bitch, what do you want from
I
me?
thought you were about to say you can't be hot and pregnant. I was like, oh yeah, I think you can. You're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
But you can't be hot and funny. Like I think we're
Is that-
I think we're funny. Like, don't you love when people on TikTok are like, can y'all show us some videos of y'all dressed up? Nope.
Nope. Yeah,
It's like we're not hot. We're just funny.
we're not. We can't be hot and funny.
There was this comedian at the yoga
honey.
studio that I used to teach at who does stand up, and she's so hot that I'm like, I just know your stand up isn't good. And she's funny, but I was like, dude, you're too like Western beauty standards hot to like have a successful comedy career. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. She's like a size 00. She's ripped. She has like piercing eyes. And she has like stainless white teeth. And I was like, nobody wants to hear it from you. Nobody wants to hear your story because you look like Giselle Bundchen. And it's just funnier.
I don't know who that is.
She's a supermodel. That's Tom Brady's wife.
Oh, Tom Brady's wife. Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to hear stand-up as told by Tyra Banks.
Tyra
you?
is funny.
I mean, is she? Or is it like, God, you're so high, I'm going to just laugh? Like, there's a level of like...
I guess, yeah, it's not
like,
actually
okay,
being funny.
name a person in Hollywood that's really hot. Like a guy.
I don't know. I can't actually think of any Hollywood actors now. I mean, Dev Patel, maybe. Dev Patel is super hot.
It's so interesting to me that I think Dev Patel is really hot too, but it's like, name a number one Hollywood actor. You're like, Dev Patel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's a movie he just came out with called The Green Knight.
Oh,
that
God.
I
was
really want to
were
watch.
You watching Slumdog earlier this week?
No, no.
Why was Dev Patel the
Dev
go-to
Patel,
answer?
yeah.
He's hot. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
no,
he's not.
that's one of the newest movies.
I thought you were going to say like
I've-
Brad Pitt or some shit. I'm actually glad that you said Dev Patel.
Yeah, Dev Patel is gorgeous, and he is in a movie that I usually, any movie I want to see, like really want to see, I'll just watch it. Like I don't wait for anything. I just fucking watch it. You know, I'm like, we're so bloated and gloated with our ability to watch anything whenever we want.
Yeah.
You know, like when I want to watch something, I'm like, damn, I'm going to do it tonight. I have an hour. Let's do it. And so he is in this beautiful new movie that I really want to fucking see, and I haven't seen it. So that's, which is sort of surprising for me. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't want to hear Brad Pitt tell jokes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
he's on. Yeah. He was funny in Seven, I guess.
Yeah, but it wasn't like,
Or Fight
I am
Club.
up at night wheezing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're not
Like,
comedians.
those people are not.
Your
like,
point is like you can't be funny and hot.
Right.
All right. Well,
Like smoking hot. It's
someone.
like, this is why Kevin
someone
Hart
DM.
has a huge like career. It's like, oh, he's short and funny, and it's funny.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's cute.
Short King.
Short King. Or like Jimmy Yang is fucking hilarious. And he was saying that on Nicole Byers' podcast. He's like, sometimes in Silicon Valley, they would just tell me to give a look, and they just all burst out laughing. And on the car ride home, I'd think about like, huh. Like, why? am I just so ugly that it's laughable? Like, is that why I have a comedy career? And I'm like, this is funny. You might be. I love Jimmy Gang, but
Yeah.
but if he was smoldering hot, he would not.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Let's watch more Christmas movies.
I thought we did wrap it up. That's what's funny about it. You
Yeah.
interrupted me.
We've been watching Christmas movies. Like we watched the first like gay Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh my God.
on
Watch
Netflix.
Single All the Way, y'all. It's
so
good.
bad and
It's
so good.
So good.
It's bad and good.
Fuck you.
It's homonormativity at its perfection.
But that's what Christmas is.
Homonormit. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's heteronormativity. You mean.
It's homonormativity. It's this idea of taking heterosexuality and domesticating it for like the homosexuals.
Oh, you call that homonormativity?
Yeah, homonormativity.
Oh, I thought you were like saying like.
No, I was
like
saying.
people were saying it's like hackneyed as a straight.
No,
couple
it's
story.
definitely like homonormativity. It's
But
like
did it make you feel good? Did you
yes, it was like a loving, beautiful story.
And we both cried.
It was,
So
yes.
I don't want to hear this after you like read a think piece or two.
No.
It's
I
worth
knew
considering,
exactly.
But it was good.
I
Oh
knew
my
exactly.
God, let's end this.
I
show.
knew exactly what. All right, bye,
Watch
y'all.
Single All the Way. We actually do love y'all.
Bye.
Don't. I get the last word. I'm the leader. I'm the one that gets the last word. You know what that's from? The Aristocats. Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you.